we discovered that each of these four personality styles has a different number of contacts that they need before they can make up their minds. And so we gave them numbers. The numbers are 2, 4, 6, and 8. So our number 2 buyer needs 1, maybe 2 contacts. They are the fast buyer. They are what's called low-hanging fruit. They're ready to go. The other 3 buyers, you've got to have that relationship going. So with buyer number 8, this is the slowest person to make up their mind. What's going on is that they are consuming research, especially scientific data, facts. They want to understand. They ask questions. They take a nosedive underneath and need an explanation as to why it is your service will work.
Welcome to the Grow and Learn podcast, your go-to source for expertise and insights on a variety of topics: business growth, leadership, technology, personal and business finance, and more. We've curated a vast network of business experts ready to address your company's most pressing challenges. From corporate growth strategy to leadership, marketing strategy, sales strategy, branding, customer relations, technology, AI, IT security, and beyond, we connect you to the best experts for your needs. Reach out to us for more information or schedule a call at grownlearn.org to explore how we can support you. We're up for a treat today. Today we're speaking with beautiful lady Nancy Zare, the sales whisperer. I am a bit overwhelmed by the rapport we built in the few minutes that we spoke, and you will see that she's going to teach you, she's going to give you nuggets today of how to build sales rapport and land more sales. Welcome, Nancy. Welcome.
Oh, Zorina, I'm so excited to be here. And yes, I can't wait to share some juicy nuggets to help the audience, you, the listener, be able to get more clients easily, effortlessly through building rapport.
Nancy, you're a psychologist. You have a PhD in psychology. And how does that link? Of course, it links to sales. I understand why. But tell us how you landed this intersection of psychology and sales.
It's a good story. First of all, I was born a psychologist. I've always been interested in human behavior. And for those of you who are a bit like me, who you thought of sales as sleazy and manipulative, etc., that was what I thought too. So I wanted nothing to do with selling. However, the government paid for my graduate studies, and they paid me to implement mental health services, addiction services in the workplace, which was a great match for me as a psychologist. But when I graduated, I discovered you cannot implement a program until it's sold. Oh, yeah. So that got me into selling. And I went back to school, not to get a degree. I went back to school, to the library. What could I learn from the great masters of selling? And so that is how I began to combine my understanding of human behavior with how to sell. And it turns out that there's a great deal of overlap. I came across a principle called the platinum rule. Now, Zorina, you know the golden rule? Treat others the way I want to be treated.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the platinum rule is treat others the way they want to be treated. Oh. And that so aligns with my values because I'm all about service and giving. Hence, when I put it into operation with my understanding of human behavior, I was able to quadruple sales in 90 days. Awesome, right?
That's fascinating. I read some of the comments on your website of clients that you've had and how excited they were about the results they were getting. I am not surprised. I know that sales is all about psychology, and clearly most of us cannot do it because we're not taught psychology, or we haven't taught ourselves. And that's why we have you here. So I'm glad you're here. And you're right. People have an aversion to selling because of the salesy selling. How do we make sales less salesy for us and for the client?
You're right. How do we make sales less salesy? Well, here's the scoop. When we think of sales, most people think of transaction. We think of an exchange, right? And our focus is on what am I going to get? What am I going to get? What am I going to get? that mindset is a real turnoff, especially to the majority of people who are buying. Now, there is a small segment of people who are just interested in give me something. So therefore, yeah, then it becomes a match when you're into what do I get and they want to receive. However, the majority of people, we need to build relationships. That's where rapport comes in, because the difference between being focused on the transaction and focused on the relationship is huge. And it's the secret, yeah, a secret sauce for how you can get sales without being salesy. Whoops. I've got a dog here. I foster dogs. This dog is new and was just about to bark up a storm. So if you hear him in the background, now you know.
He's pretty, or she. It fits you. The lady with the small dog, wasn't there such a I don't know, a book? The lady with the small dog. Anyhow.
I like it. We just created it anyway.
Yes. I have actually heard about this approach from books that were written at the beginning of the century by Napoleon Hill and by Zig Ziglar and by all of these, titans,
the masters.
Titans of psychology and personal development. Why are people not implementing them? What is still stopping people from taking these learnings from knowledge that is available?
I think it's because when we look at the messaging that we're receiving in our inboxes and on social media, most of the messaging tends to be transactional. Buy this, deadline, expires tonight, only 2 left, get yours now. It's this constant transactional messaging. I don't know about you, Zorina, but I am constantly receiving, let's connect. And the next message is attend my workshop, or, look at my website. Or in other words, it's very transactional. They want me to give to them. And that's not how you build relationships. I mean, think back, listener, about your best friend. How did that come about? It wasn't a transaction. It was about mutuality and about finding things that the two of you had in common. Well, that's what building relationships is about. Finding those commonalities and celebrating them. And of course, how do you build a relationship? You spend time with that individual. Mm-hmm. Hence, you can't just immediately ask for a sale. You have to, over time, create a relationship, and then you can take a look at, gee, could you use my service? If so, let me know.
Mm-hmm. This is a bit contradictory to the faster sales cycles that you're actually achieving. Like you're achieving faster sales cycles. I read a comment, somebody managed to, I don't know, double their sales within 90 days or something like that on your website. Can't quote it exactly. But how do people manage this when they actually have to invest more time in sales?
What a great question. So it turns out that the heart of what I teach is understanding personality style. So again, it goes back to psychology. There are 4 distinct personalities. And I'm sure you're familiar, and the listener probably is familiar with various programs. There are names, there are colors, there are animals like dogs, fish, birds. It turns out that each of these 4 personality styles has a different bucket of values that are associated with that style. And when you understand what those values are and you speak the language of your prospect, hence that platinum rule, you're treating the other person the way they want to be treated, it actually speeds up and develops the relationship more quickly than if you don't know what their style is. Does that make sense?
This makes absolute sense. I'm actually ready to take notes.
You want to take notes on the 4 styles?
Yes, but actually I'm getting a recording, so I'm not going to take notes. I'm going to re-listen.
All right. So here's the scoop about the 4 styles. I actually, after 35 years of research, not all mine, a colleague, We discovered that each of these 4 personality styles has a different number of contacts that they need before they can make up their minds. And so we gave them numbers. The numbers are 2, 4, 6, and 8. So our number 2 buyer needs 1, maybe 2 contacts. They are the fast buyer. They are what's called low-hanging fruit. They're ready to go. And so basically it's very transactional. And then they'll think about a relationship. The other 3 buyers, you've got to have that relationship going. So with buyer number 8, this is the slowest person to make up their mind. What's going on is that they are consuming research, especially scientific data, facts. They want to understand. They ask questions. They take a nosedive underneath and need an explanation as to why it is your service will work. Of course, the number 4 and 6 buyers, they have different values going on. Our number 4 buyer is about connecting authentically heart to heart. They want to build a relationship. They want to have a bond. They want to feel connected to you. They're really buying a friend. And finally, our number 6 buyer, this is the person that wants social proof. They follow a system. They want to feel safe and secure. Hence, they need recommendations and endorsement that say, I've used the service and it worked. So notice very different buying styles and different priorities and values in terms of making a decision.
This is very interesting. And while you were speaking, I was wondering how I could possibly segment my communication per email to a group of people by not knowing their personality style or character style. What do you call that? Personality style?
Personality style.
Because, I send different types of emails, and often they're more scientific. Sometimes they're a bit more friendly, but there is no clear pattern or system behind it.
So that's a great question. And when you don't know your audience well, and they're probably a mixture of all 4 styles, then you have a couple of choices. Choice number 1 is to try to write an email or even a social media post that appeals to all styles. This requires a lot of ingenuity. It's not easy to do because you need to sprinkle in the right value words that will capture each of the 4 people, personality styles, capture their attention. The second option is to write more than 1 email, not send them immediately, but 1 email specifically for the fast buyer, 1 email specifically for the connection and the relationship buyer. The third email could be for that person who follows a system and needs social proof. And the last email could be more of here's some more information for you to learn and read. So different emails so that each of the personality styles you will connect with.
And so you alternate and have it as a repeating cycle when you send these emails.
It could well be. But now I want to give you, and listener, take real good notes of this because this is an important tip I'm telling you. Of the 4 styles, only 2 of them are your favorite styles to work with. So if that's the case and you know which of the 2 styles resonate with you, and usually it's because those are your styles, then I suggest let the other 2 go. Find someone who does what you do, but they like working with those styles you just let go, and get an arrangement so that you begin to refer to each other. Isn't that interesting? Here is your competition, but you're actually now in collaboration because you can refer to each other the styles that you prefer working with. How does that sound?
This sounds fantastic. This sounds like an ingenious idea.
That's what I teach my clients to do. So you got to know who you are, right? Your style, and then who is your ideal persona, your client personality style, so that you can address them. And then it saves a whole bunch of wear and tear when you're writing your emails and when you're posting, because guess what? Now you're talking to them. talking to them in the language they understand. And there's a strong connection you're going to make.
Does each personality style respond to a number of like a set of words that you have maybe grouped or have a system? I see the
Yeah, a likability. That is my system.
Yes.
And now, a likability is not a word in the English language. I made it up. So in case you're wondering, I know, Karina, English is not your first language.
Mm-hmm.
I made up this word, so I'm going to define it. A likability is a skill, hence the word ability. It's a skill that raises the feeling within a feeling or thought within the other person that you get me, we're alike. Hence, that's where the alike comes from. So you raise the feeling, the thought within your prospect of we're alike. And guess what happens when people feel we're alike? They're going to relax. The trust builds. The sales resistance drops away. We all got sales resistance. We love to buy. Don't try to sell me. And with that combination of trust high, sales resistance low, it opens the door to doing business together. And that's the reason why my clients they actually do enroll 50% or more of their prospects, because they're speaking the right language, attracting the right people, and then they know what to say to build rapport, which will result in a sale.
Mm-hmm. Do most of your clients have phone calls or like calls, or do they communicate in other methods?
So nowadays, because of the internet and because many of us are doing business, abroad and in other countries, etc., many of us are doing it through video conferencing, right? And they're in-person stuff. Yes, we do try to network, but even networking is taking place more and more online. Hence, this is where we're talking to each other, and this is where it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, what I mean is you have calls with them, online calls. It's not like it's only written communication where they don't see you, they don't there is no reciprocal communication.
You're absolutely right. And this is something that I think we should underline and emphasize for the listening audience. And that is that, especially if you're in a service occupation and you're providing coaching, consultation, some kind of service rather than a widget and a product, people need to connect with you. Yes, you. Hence, all that digital marketing stuff that says all you have to do is put up a great website and a wonderful sales funnel, and we send out all those emails and we post on social media. Guess what? They're going to have a conversation with you in order to seal the deal. Why? Because of this idea of the personality styles, the chemistry that happens when people connect with someone who is alike, someone who is like them. And so they can't figure that out on the website. They're going to have a conversation. And hence, you need to develop the skill to be able to talk to that person in their language.
Mm-hmm. What do you say to salespeople or to consultants, coaches, anybody you're training who says, I'm afraid of rejections. I don't want to be facing people saying no to me all the time?
I love that you asked that, because that's so typical of what is the number 4 style. Do you remember the number 4 style is the person who wants to connect heart to heart? They want a friend, etc. This is the person who is most concerned about rejection. And what I do with my clients is, instead of focusing on rejection, focus again on relationship and on connection with people and service. You see, the number 4 buyer is someone who cares about people and they want to genuinely help others. Focus on helping them, and helping them if they have an itch. Wouldn't you want to help them scratch that itch? And that's what you're doing in terms of asking for the sale. So it isn't rejection. It's a not now statement. In fact, I even have a formula. I'm wondering if maybe this is something people might like, because it is something that I can give just your audience if they message me. I have what's called the no to yes sales formula. So when you hear no, you can respond with a scripted sentence that will allow you to maintain rapport and actually continue and grow the relationship. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Oh, this is fantastic. I'm absolutely signing up for that.
Okay, I make sure to get you one quickly.
What is your website? Where people, we'll repeat it once again, but what is it?
It's my name, nancyzare.com. So if you spell my last name correctly, Z for Zespel or Zed, ARE, nancyzare.com. Yes, please message me and I will be happy to give you the no to yes formula. So in your message, say no to yes or just no formula.
I see. Okay, fantastic. Nancy, what do you think now of the developments, the future developments with the advancement of AI? How will sales develop? And how will the relationship to clients change?
So AI is a great tool, but it cannot substitute for human contact. It can't substitute for a sales conversation, but it can tell you some information about the person you're about to meet and, summarize it for you and give you some nuggets about what you might talk about to build rapport. So in that sense, AI is great. You can also use it to help you track information. It will stimulate and tell you about follow-up. Follow-up is a major activity in sales, which most people neglect. So AI can be a friend and a tool, but it won't substitute for a conversation.
How do you open up a conversation with it when you don't know the type of person that is opposite you?
We do know the type of person. See, that's what I teach. And so how do I know the type of person? By how they dress, how they talk, how they behave, how they post or write something. All of these are clues, even how they decorate. So, for example, right now, do you see a very minimalist background? Well, for those of you who are listening, you can't see, of course. But Zorina has a very minimalist background here. And so this tells me that she's orderly and that she cares about a professional look. So right away, I have some ideas about who she is and how to start a conversation.
But do you have an idea about my personality type out of the 4 types?
Yes, you're that warm-hearted, caring individual who wants to connect authentically with people.
Okay. Is that number 2 or number 4?
Number 4.
Number
It's a
4.
number 4 style. Yes,
so I need a lot of nurturing.
That's right. You do. You need a lot of love. But actually, you're looking for people who are also like-minded, right? Who care about making a difference, serving others, etc.
Very interesting. Wow, you have such a sharp eye for details.
But that is an interesting comment. And again, we are seeing things, right? People who are viewing this right now on YouTube, you're seeing both of us. You're seeing how we're dressed. You're seeing our backgrounds. Are you really looking? Because there's so much information that you can gather that's in plain sight and get insight into what somebody's like. So before I talk to someone, Zorina, and this is what I teach my clients, we go to online material like a LinkedIn profile or Facebook pages or the website, and we look up the person. And if there's a photo, ooh, juicy, 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 because we get to see what they wear, how they accessorize or don't accessorize, and so forth.
What if it's a professional photo where people usually keep it very minimalistic? They might be very exuberant otherwise, but...
Well, this is a good comment because certain countries, for example, a number of the countries in the Middle East and the Far East have a very strong sense about how they present professionally. And they don't smile and they're very stiff and they wear professional, clothing, usually a suit jacket and so forth. And so you're correct that it is harder to tell what their style is. So this is where I now look at what they post and so that I can figure that out.
And how long does it take your clients to learn your methodology, the excuse me, I can't.
Ability. Yeah.
Likability. Yeah.
So the people who tend to be the number 8 individual, the I call them geeks and nerds, right? Because they take a deep nosedive into information. They learn it pretty quickly, within 1 to 3 months. So, very fast. And by the way, I have, books that I've written, and I have a video course. And so they can just dive right in, and they learn it pretty quickly. The other folks need more hand holding and need more contact. So, for example, the number 4 style actually wants to learn through another person. And they might watch a video, but they need some application and they need some direct contact with the presenter. And so reading a book will not help them.
You're right. On my other platform, Heal and Learn, the majority of my clients were actually clients for my live courses. They were not, I didn't have that many clients for recorded courses. They wanted a personal interaction.
Yeah. And so when you know remember the 2 of the 4 styles, when you know which of those 2 styles you want to get with and you want to have as clients, then you also know the kinds of programs and tools that might attract them. So notice how that can save you a lot of aggravation, stress, time, money, because now you're focused exactly on who you can serve.
Very interesting. Wow, fascinating, Nancy. What about, this very I would say simplistic methodology where you would copy the posture and mimic the other person. That's the golden rule, but not the platinum rule. Would you say so?
Correct. Oh, kudos. Give her a gold star. She's a quick learner. Yeah, I'm not into mimicking. And I know that some people, especially there's something called NLP, neuro linguistic programming. And so, if you're nodding your head, I nod my head. If you scratch your cheek, I scratch. That is phony baloney. People see through that. So I don't recommend doing it.
I have actually tried that. When I was in my corporate job, I have tried it. But I was very careful because at some point, I think it started being obvious. But I must say it worked to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, it does. But again, here's where we mimic people. We mimic people with their values. So that number 2 value is speed, efficiency, directness, results. When you provide that, the number 2 is very happy. With the number 4, remember, they're wanting to connect human to human. So when you are more personal and you talk in a more personal, friendly way, this is where you connect rapidly.
To what extent do we dive into the personality type? Because it might require some level of artistry and artistic abilities. Like if I would need to match somebody's tone, speed of voice, not only their interests, do I need to match their behavior the way they are?
Again, it's values. Values are matched through behavior, but they're matched a lot through words. And so when I talk about connecting and collaboration and doing it together and let's form a community, you're feeling like, boy, I'm speaking your language. But if I talk instead about, well, we have a process and a system, and step 1, we're going to do it this way, and step 2 is that, all of a sudden, I lost you. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to follow those steps because that's not your style.
I see. Very, very interesting. Could you share some of the value words of one of the personality types?
If you go back and rewind, I just did. So the number 4 words are all about collaboration, service, support, nurturing, connection, together, teamwork. Those are all the kinds of words that will resonate with your number 4 buyer.
Nancy, this was a fascinating conversation. I really enjoyed this.
I had no idea where it was going to go.
I always love it when I learn so much from my guests.
You had no idea where we were going to go with this, did you?
No. But you know, I'm somehow always lucky. I always get great people on my show.
It's probably not luck. It's probably, again, the good work that you put in to attract people, right?
Well, thank you. Your beautiful red hat. Why is this a representation of your brand?
So the quick story is that entrepreneurs wear many hats, and the one they least like is selling, right? In fact, you even said people don't want to get rejected, and they feel, sleazy and funny about, that kind of manipulation. Well, that's what the hat represents. Is we wear many hats, and of course I have 4 different colored hats because they represent the 4 styles. Today I happen to be wearing the number 2 hat, the fast, speedy, energetic hat, but there are other hat colors that I put on. Again, it puts me in the mood, and I knew I wanted to be energetic for your audience.
Oh, fantastic. What are the other colors that you wear? What do they represent?
The gold hat is for the number 4 because they have hearts of gold. They care about people. The blue hat is for the true blue, loyal number 6 buyer. And green is the leftover color for the person who is a bit of a nerd and loves to learn.
Are these colors that you matched yourself to the personality types? Or is there some psychology behind these?
There's no psychology, really. I haven't looked into that, to be honest, so I don't know.
You went by with the feeling. Well, that's great. It makes sense. Oh, fantastic, Nancy. Once again, where can people find you?
Obviously, you can go to my website, but I would prefer, if you're on LinkedIn, to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love, love, love to connect with you on LinkedIn. I post 4 times or so a week. I have lots of tips and tricks and, stuff for you to look at. So, and it's just Nancy Zare, just my name on LinkedIn. And remember, if you mention the word no when we connect, or no formula, I'm going to give you that special gift of the No to Yes sales formula, which, by the way, works 85% of the time. It will change someone's no to yes.
Wow, I'm heading to your LinkedIn profile now. Nancy, I had so much joy talking to you.
As likewise. To your sales success.
Thank you. And to yours. Thank you for listening to Grow and Learn. We hope that you found our podcast informative, engaging, and inspiring. Our mission is to help you keep growing and learning, and we hope that our conversations and insights have provided you with practical advice and useful perspectives. If you're looking for personalized support and guidance to help you achieve your personal or professional growth objectives, I offer a range of services to help. As a trusted management partner and mentor, I work with businesses in the process of transformation, looking for new streams of business, as well as M&A. With an extensive professional network of experts and mentors, I can bring on board the right person or team based on the specific needs of the company I'm working with. To learn more about the services I offer and how I can help you achieve your goals, visit my website at grownlearn.org. You can also reach out to me via email or social media. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode of Grow and Learn, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us, and it helps us to continue to create content that is relevant and valuable to our listeners. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights and perspectives with you in the future.